Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today to learn about a program that you can offer at your library in order to address job-related needs in your community called a resume workshop. My name is Kuusinen, and I am the Associate Reference Librarian at Werner Memorial Library in beautiful Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Steamboat is a city of about 10,000 people, and Werner Memorial Library serves a county of about 24,000. Our economy is primarily based upon tourism and also ranching and mining. And as you can imagine, the tourist economy has taken a bit of a hit in the last couple of years, and as a result we've seen a tremendous increase in the number of job-related patron requests at the library. In the reference department at Werner Memorial Library, we manage 22 public internet and word processing computers that are free to use to anyone that walks through the door. And over the last particularly year or so, we've seen a very large increase in the number of requests from patrons for assistance on resumes and assistance filling out online job applications and searching for jobs online and the like. So in order to respond to this increased number of needs in the community, we decided to host an event called a resume workshop. And the basic idea behind a resume workshop is a person can bring their resume to the library during a specified amount of time and have a highly qualified professional look at it and provide them feedback in a one-on-one, very private situation. So when planning for the resume workshop, I broke the task into basically 3 parts. I said I need to find volunteers and secure them for the event. I need to provide those volunteers with some type of support, some structure, and in order to provide consistency for the event. And then I also need to market the event so that people actually show up on the day of the event. So I began by making a list of the largest businesses in the community. I figured, who better to provide feedback for people on their resumes than the folks in the business community that look at hundreds and in some cases thousands of resumes every year. So my list began with the ski area, and I also looked at the hospitals and banks. I contacted Smartwool, which is a local clothing company in the community. I contacted a fellow that owns 3 local restaurants to see if he would be willing to participate. I also contacted a professor of resort management at the local community college. And I began contacting these folks, not really knowing what the response would be, and I was totally overwhelmed by people's willingness and kindness to offer their services for free at a library event. And the people that I contacted at these businesses were generally either the owner or the head of hiring or the head of human services. And I also contacted the Workforce Center, and I brought the idea to them, not exactly knowing what role they would be willing to play or what role I wanted them to play, and basically presented the idea of the event, and they offered their services in a number of ways. They hung a flyer that I created, a basic flyer and publisher, on their bulletin board so that everyone that walked through the doors of the Workforce Center would see that there was going to be an event at the library and the day and time and location. And they also offered to email an electronic copy of the flyer out to 700 people in their database. So basically anyone that asks the Workforce Center for services that has an email, they collect that email and then they send out updates and emails. So I thought that was incredible free marketing offered by the Workforce Center. They also offered to send a volunteer to edit resumes that day and offered to give us some flyers and information about the Workforce Center itself. So other marketing tools that I used were our local newspaper offers free calendar events and free press releases. So I submitted press release and a calendar event information to them. I also tried to spread the word of mouth to anyone that I thought might be interested in the event, anyone that came into the library looking for help with their resume or other job-related requests. And then I also hung the flyers at highly frequented bulletin boards around the community. So at our health and rec center and at the grocery stores and at the community college, just hung flyers. So 1 week before the event, I sent a reminder email out to all of the people that had agreed to volunteer and said, reminded them that they had agreed to volunteer and the time and day and place of the workshop, but also provided them with a quick synopsis of the 5 most common resume mistakes, such as using the words I or me, or spelling or grammatical errors, or using too many fonts and having the resume be illegible. So I also provided them with a couple of links to some more in-depth resources if they wanted to dig deeper before the event and polish their skills. And the day of the event, I had set up tables and chairs, and I basically set up separate tables with chairs around them with pens and pencils and flyers and resources, so that it was a very private feeling situation, so that a patron could come in and meet one-on-one with a business professional. And at 11 a.m., it was a 3-hour event. All the business professionals were there, and I was not knowing what to expect, and patrons started streaming in. It was awesome. We had 20 people attend over a 3-hour period, which kept most of my volunteers busy for the entire time. And the diversity of the patrons that came in was a very, very wide spectrum. We had a high school student, and we had a former business owner, and we had a fellow that is recovering from a traumatic brain injury, and we had a CPA who was highly qualified and had a very impressive resume. So it was just like just a very diverse population of people, which was great feedback to me that this type of event appeals to a very broad continuum of people in the community. So that was really great. And after the event, I didn't really know if I could call it successful. I thought it was successful, and I thought we helped a lot of people, but 1 week after the event, a fellow that I had personally helped refine his cover letter and resume came into the library and shouted, "Jackie, I got a job!" And that was one of those shining moments in librarianship where I had that direct feedback that what we were doing was actually helping people. And what little I know about this fellow's story is that he had been submitting his resume for the last year to various companies and was getting turned down a lot. And so I don't know if the specific feedback that I gave him on his cover letter and resume was what got him the job, or if it was just that little extra push, that encouragement when someone's discouraged. I don't know, but it was incredibly rewarding, and makes me think that this is something that I should probably do again at the library, and I do plan to host more resume workshops for the community in the future. And so that said, I encourage you all to try to organize resume workshops. Jennifer Peterson has kindly posted the emails that I wrote to volunteers on WebJunction. So those are available for you to use. Download them, put your library's name in there, and send them out. That's what they're there for. And also, please feel free to contact me personally with any questions. Consider me a resource for something like this. And with that said, good luck, and thank you so much for your time.